Yes, welcome one, welcome all to the Peak Performance Leadership Podcast. It is your Chief Leadership Officer, Scott McCarthy, and thanks for tuning in. I'm laughing because this is the fourth take I'm doing on just this intro alone, folks, because I want to make sure I bring you quality. Today, that being said, I'm bringing you something different, and that is our new segment, line of podcast episodes, whatever you want to refer to it as. It doesn't matter. It's our Monday military leadership insights. Why? Why are we bringing this to you now? Because I asked you, you answered. You said, Scott, all these great guests are fantastic. They're top notch, but we want to hear more about you. And I went, say, what? Yes, we want to hear more about you, and in particular, your military leadership experience and how it relates to our struggles today. I went, okay, let's do that. And here we are, Monday, Military Leadership Insights is born. So what are we going to be doing? I'm going to be talking to you short episodes, kind of similar to our old Monday Leadership Minute we used to run. Similar idea, but really focused on my military experience and how it relates to leadership. And that's what it's going to be all about Mondays now. Don't worry, you're still getting the interviews, you're still getting the longer length podcast episodes. Those aren't going away. So the reality is you're getting more content, more value for you, the listener. So today I want to hit on a topic which I talked about in the past, but quite some time ago, and I feel like it's actually relevant to today. And that is the ideology rent. Leadership is rent. And you're probably going to say, what? You can't rent leadership? It's not like a vehicle, like go rent a car, go rent an Airbnb. You don't go and like, no, let's go rent some leadership. No. But bear with me. So in the military, we change jobs often. Like every 2 years or less, I'm on the move. I'm on the move changing roles. It's just how the system works. And we are not going to go down why the system is that way right now, because that would be a podcast episode in itself and probably a quite lengthy one at that. But the thing you need to understand is in the military, we change jobs regularly. So every 2 years, sometimes less, sometimes a bit more, but generally speaking, every 2 years we change roles. We slide out of what we refer to as staff jobs, where you're not necessarily leading big teams, and into command jobs where you are leading big teams, and back out again and in and out, and you get the point. So where does this whole ideology that leadership is rent comes from? Well, to be able to get in and establish yourself as a leader, affect positive change, and set things up for the future within 2 years, you have to look at leadership as rent. That's how I look at it with my military experience. Okay? And what I mean by leadership is rent is that trust, you as the leader, you have to trust your team. If you've been listening to the show for any length of time, you've heard me say trust is the cornerstone of leadership. That being said, the other side of the coin, your people, it's going to take time for them to trust you. And this is what I mean by leadership is rent. You have to show up daily. You can't just decide, I'm going to be a good leader Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays I'm going to check out. And Tuesdays, I'll just not good because, I got a late night hockey game and Monday nights. And I'm usually pretty tired Tuesdays, so I'm just going to be a horrible, crappy boss on Tuesdays. And Fridays is Friday, like the weekend. Like, come on. I'm not going to be there for my people or give solid direction and guidance or anything like that. No. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, my days to be a leader. It doesn't work that way. You have to show up every single day. You have to be consistent as a leader. People will understand when they believe you're doing your best. So if you show up day in, day out, doing your best, giving them your all, whatever it is you have that day. Don't get me wrong, I understand we have peaks and valleys and all the other things in between, and so does your team. But they understand that too. Some days just aren't good days. But if some days are always Tuesdays and Fridays, they see through that. And suddenly, rent's due and you're not paying. You have to pay your rent daily. So what does that mean? It means showing up, leading by example, day in, day out. It's leading with integrity and respect, day in, day out. Being that calm and consistent leader that your team needs. And as you pay your rent, what you're doing is you're actually overpaying. And that's fine in leadership space. Wouldn't offer that if you're actually paying rent, but in leadership space it's fine. So you're overpaying your rent. And then one day, we all make mistakes. And suddenly, whoops, I forgot to pay rent today. And your landlord, i.e. your people, will go, that's okay. You've been so consistent. You've been so solid, day in, day out, paying on time. We'll let today slide. Okay, cool. And then you go back to paying your rent, day in, day out. And they go, this is awesome. This is exactly the person we need as a leader of our team and our organization. So keep that in mind that you have to pay your rent. Now, what is one of the biggest hiccups I find with leaders who I coach, hundreds of leaders that we've coached, helped, whether that's one-to-one or through our mastermind community, the Leader Growth Mastermind, and that is they stop leading themselves. The old analogy, you can tell how much I've traveled in my life. When the aircraft loses pressure, oxygen mask will fall from the top. Tug tightly, firmly on yours, place it over your mouth, elastic over your head, and then pull snugly. You get the point, all right? So why is it that during that safety video when you board an aircraft, they're telling you an event of cabin pressure depressurization, there we go, to put your mask on first and not help others first? And that is because if you don't put yours on first, you're more likely to pass out and be incapacitated and therefore unable to help others. As leaders, we need to put our oxygen masks on. And this is what happens. When we don't put our oxygen masks on, we don't have the money to pay our rent. Suddenly, we stop paying. We get short with our people. We don't have that extra little bit of time and effort to hear them out, to explain to them. You start cutting corners. You start getting snappy with your communication. You stop explaining your decisions to people. You go ahead and start destroying that sense of psychological safety within your team. And suddenly, eviction notice starts coming in. People start leaving. You know, why? Why are you all leaving? You're leaving because you ain't paying your rent. And rent is due daily. So in order to pay your rent, take care of yourself. Stop being so selfless that you destroy yourself in the act of trying to help others. Put your mask on first. I'm not saying be selfish. There is a balance. That can be a topic for another day. But the moral of the story is right now what I'm seeing with leaders is that they're being so selfless that they got nothing left in the tank to give to others. Others are starting to question whether or not they like this place. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward. All right. Leadership is rent. Rent is due daily. get the funds to pay your rent by leading yourself. That is your Monday Military Leadership Insight inaugural episode 300 of the podcast, and a great way to kick it off because we're going to keep numbering them because why not? All right. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know as well. We'll always make it better. And most importantly, if you have topics you want me to touch on, let me know. Feel free to reach out. Socials, email, anywhere. Send a carrier pigeon. I'll find it. But until next time, lead, don't boss. Take care. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now.